All Peruvians know of Tupac Amaru II, the famous rebel, who was tied by his limbs to 4 horses and then dismembered for his insurrection. But not many know about Tupac Amaru I. It turns out that this figure was the last Inca of Vilcabamba, who ruled the Neo-Inca state, the last independent entity led by the Inca nobility. How did this forgotten country in history rise and fall? Are you interested? Go ahead. Then stay until the end of the video. We go back to 1529. After the death of the Inca Huayna Capac, a succession crisis broke out between his 2 sons, Huáscar and Atahualpa, with the latter prevailing. Immediately afterward, the Spanish expedition, led by the architect of the conquest of Tahuantinsuyo, the famous Francisco Pizarro, arrives. After gaining the support of various indigenous peoples, such as the Huancas, Chachapoyas, or Iñaris, the capture of Atahualpa in Cajamarca was accomplished. His glory truly didn't last long. Despite offering a room full of gold in exchange for his freedom, Atahualpa was executed, and Pizarro placed another son of the late emperor, Huayna Capac Manco Inca, in power. Although he initially collaborated with the Spaniards, Manco Inca grew tired of the abuses, escaped, and gathered an army of 100,000 men to lay siege to Cusco between 1536 and 1537, in order to expel the Spaniards. As a result, the conquistadors were able to resist, and Manco Inca had to withdraw. In which direction? Toward the present-day district of Vilcabamba, in the department of Cusco, where he would found the Neo-Inca state, in a strategic place difficult to access due to its geography, right on the edge of the jungle. His domain extended throughout this entire territory. The Neo-Inca rulers maintained traditional institutions and preserved the legitimacy of the dynasty. In 1545, Manco Inca was treacherously assassinated by a group of Spanish exiles and was succeeded by his son, Zairi Tupac. The new ruler agreed to negotiate with the Spanish, and in 1557 renounced the title of Inca in exchange for wealth and noble titles.
God, for silver, for the homeland.
For God, for silver, for the homeland.
However, he died mysteriously in 1561, and his brother, Tito Cusi Yupanqui, resumed talks with Spain, signing the Treaty of Vilcabamba. In it, he agrees to keep the title of Inca, accepts Catholicism, receives baptism with the name Diego de Castro, and allows missionaries to enter Vilcabamba. He dies in 1570 and is succeeded by another son of Manco Inca, Tupac Amaru I. At last, we arrive at the protagonist of the story. It turns out that during his rule, negotiations with Spain stalled. But the straw that broke the camel's back was that 2 Spanish envoys to Vilcabamba were killed by locals who, as you can imagine, were not exactly happy with the growing Spanish influence. They left Cusco for a reason, right? That's how the then Viceroy Francisco de Toledo had the perfect excuse to go after the Neo-Inca state. The reason was to centralize the viceroyalty, eliminate any alternative authority, and remove the political legitimacy of the Incas. You know, if there isn't an independent Inca, there's no threat of rebellion. No sooner said than done, the Spanish invaded Vilcabamba in 1572 and captured Manco Inca, who was executed in Cusco. The Neo-Inca state then passes into the pages of history. We move forward to the end of the 18th century. Jose, Gabriel Condorcanti, a direct descendant of Tupac Amaru Ust, was a member of the indigenous nobility who preserved his privileges, so he had businesses and certain wealth. Faced with the abuses of the Spanish colonial officials and the improper collection of taxes from indigenous people since the Bourbon reforms, the chief started a rebellion under the name Tupac Amaru Tupac II, Peruvian indigenous hero or encomendero who started an economic rebellion, the most balanced position, a combination of both. Tupac Amaru II did not seek independence as such, since his rebellion was against the corregidores, but he still recognized the authority of King Carlos III. However, his rebellion did have an ethnic and symbolic component, since he defended the indigenous communities, using the recovery of Inca memory in his name. End of the story. Tupac Amaru II was captured and brutally executed in 1783, which would now truly bury any direct connection with the Inca past. So, as you can see, the little-known episode of the Incas of Vilcabamba had a legacy that connects with contemporary history. So, from Sebas Map, we leave you this small tribute, since their existence deserves a place. Did you know about the Incas of Vilcabamba?